Hello, I'm your host, Kelly Eckhart, and welcome to The Future Edit. Hello and welcome back to The Future Edit. I have a great episode for you today. I have Donna Tweedale. She is an amazing stylist. I have so much respect for her and what she stands for and how she helps her clients develop their style or find their style. So today we're going to talk about her work, how she works with her clients, and also helping these women go inward and find their true self and their true style. So thank you, Donna, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this is awesome. So first off, introduce yourself. What is your background? We'll start with that. And then how you got into styling.
Sure. I'm Donna. I'm 40. I live in a village just south of Cambridge in the UK. I have a couple of kids, aged 9 and 11, and a dog called Dave.
That's a great name for a dog. I love that.
Yeah, a funny little character. So I have been styling as my business for about 5 to 6 years now. But I kind of happened upon it just from helping friends, and just in the way that I approached my own wardrobe, I didn't even really feel like it was something that a personal stylist did. I think that perhaps, the Gok Wan and the Trini and Susanna shows circa, was that 96?
Yeah.
I felt like, well, I don't do that. So that's what a stylist is it not? And it wasn't until probably Instagram, and then you kind of find your feet and find your people that are sort of speaking the same language as you. And then I was like, actually, this could be a thing. This is what I get excited about. So so I studied at UAL, formerly London College of Fashion, and I really wanted to understand the technicality of personal styling, about how, body shape. I did do colour, but it's not really a focus of mine when I work with clients now. I'm all about behaviour of fabric and the fit and how things feel, and that's what I get really excited about.
Nice. And so when you first graduated and you decided, yeah, this is the direction I want to go, how did you find your personal styling style? Because, there's so many stylists out there all doing their own thing. But for you, what was that kind of light bulb moment to say, this is the direction I want to go in? And was it from your personal style and you just kind of went in that direction, or it was kind of trial and error?
I think it was quite organic, really. It sounds like such a cliche thing to say, but I got a lot of experience with women of all ages, of all dress sizes. I felt like that was really important for me to feel confident that when I was going to do this as a business, that I felt like I had that time under my belt. So I did that for a while before a good couple of years even, before I was like, okay, now I feel like confident in myself that I can guide women. I've always been very secure in clothes that I like. That's always been a thing. I might be insecure about other things, but when it comes to my clothes, I've always held my ground and felt pretty good. The only time I had a kind of waver was probably when I had the children, and I felt a little bit like, does my personal style fit with what is the image of a good mother? Do you know what I mean? Especially living in like a sleepy village in South Cambridgeshire. The school run wasn't really ready for what I was bringing to the table, I think. And I'm not that much of an eccentric dresser, but I've always loved the androgyny. Whenever we'd go out, in my teens, I'd be the one in the jeans and the trousers when everyone was in like skirts and dresses. It just didn't ever feel right for me. And I've never, if I've kind of experimented with things, I've always come back to that classic men's sort of vibe. I really enjoy that. But I think that I've always known where I sit. I think when I first started styling as well, it's quite tricky because it can be really easy to kind of get confused almost by noise that's going on around you. So it's taken quite a lot of work on myself to feel confident that what I have to say has value and what I bring to my clients has value, and that what I'm doing is important, and that I don't need to like be hustling all the time and rushing around and ramming clients into the diary and all of that, because it just doesn't sit with me of how I am as a person. I just don't operate that way. I'm just quite slow paced, and so I kind of, it's taken a while to kind of really lean into that and be like, this is who I am, and there's no point trying to fit into what is expected of me. This is just how I like to work, and be unapologetic for that. And it's a good place to be. It feels good.
Completely. Because a lot of your posts on Instagram are about slowing down and really having this lifestyle of taking it easy, appreciate the moment, don't rush, because, you know, it's completely opposite to what's being preached out there is go, 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 go. You have to have the latest thing, you know, trend.
Absolutely.
You know, keep up with the bloggers and the influencers. But you're completely preaching the opposite. So tell me a little bit more about that. Slowing down, clearly, like you said, reflects your style. So first off, describe your style. I know it's androgynous, but go a little deeper into that, and then how that fits into slowing down.
Sure. I'm all for the comfort always. I don't really, like I said to someone recently, my pre-lockdown wardrobe was the same as my lockdown wardrobe. I was ready for that. I had all the loungewear. I was prepped and ready to go.
That's awesome.
Which was interesting, because then women were coming to me that were really sort of corporate and were like, you do comfort. I don't know how to do this. You need to like lead me through how to do that.
Yeah.
And I just think that to feel comfortable and to feel like you're representing the woman that you are and that you feel pulled together, they're not mutually exclusive. You can absolutely do both. And I think the key of that comes into the fabrics that you choose to use to that. I just think I really enjoy an oversized silhouette. I really enjoy the drama of that. And that's why I think I turn to a lot of menswear pieces, because I've struggled to find that in women's wear. I think more recently it's starting to filter through the likes of brands like Frankie Shop. But I really like to sort of look into pre-loved and look into men's tailoring and get that look from there. But I think that I love mixing hardy fabrics. Like I love wearing a lot of denim and leather with then really soft jerseys and cottons and silks, and I really love that contradiction. So if I'm say going out for an occasion, the likelihood is I will be in jeans, if not an altered pair of men's trousers, with just like a simple tee or simple cami, and that's just that's like my uniform, if you want for a better phrase. But I just absolutely enjoy feeling comfortable, and if I'm not comfortable I don't feel confident, and I think that shows all over your face for sure.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I'm the same as you, that when I had a chat to my therapist the other day, she's like, you're like comfortably stylish. I'm like, yes, because
I love that.
It's cool now. I was like, I'm gonna steal that, thanks. I mean, but it's it's so true that I'm the same as you. If you're not comfortable, or if I'm not comfortable, I feel so uncomfortable. And then your whole true personality doesn't shine through, right? You're constantly adjusting something or feeling a little bit nervous, and the whole idea is clothing is a representation of yourself. So the more comfortable you feel, the more you're going to be yourself, right?
Exactly.
So I absolutely love your aesthetic, and also showing women, that being casual cool is okay. That this is actually quite sexy, right? I find women that are very toned down and wearing something like your style, every time you show up on Instagram, you just look really put together, but it's simple and it works for you, right? And most women try to strive for this amazing, like, put together comfort look, but it's easy if you think about it and don't overdo it, right? I think a lot of us women think we have to overdo it, but that's not it.
No, and I think that comes from a lot of learned behavior and what society's told you. And it's that whole, I'm very mindful of how I speak to my daughter. I know you're very similar. I like them to kind of express themselves, but I don't want her to feel like she needs to look pretty all of the time. Like I've never really been into that, but yeah, I think that's really important to feel like represented and to feel comfortable, because if you're constantly adjusting at your clothes and trying to sort of pull in Spanx and sort of dress like you feel like how women should look is not, if that doesn't fit with who you are, then it's going to be written all over your face. I mean, some women, they love that. They love the ceremony of getting dressed and all the adornment and all of that. And that's their thing. And that's absolutely fine. But for me, it's much more about the simplicity. I really appreciate like the more subtleties. And I think it's much sexier on a female frame to not be overtly sexy, to like push back the other way, which is why, like men's tailoring, like women in YSL suits, has stood the test of time, because it's just perfect. So yeah, like women like Tilda Swinton, I love what she does. I love all of that. I think it's amazing, but I'm all about just pulling it back. You don't have to do everything at the same time to look like you've made an effort.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when you are taking on a client, do you take into consideration, I mean, have you had a client come on and, they say, can you help me? And you've had to consider if they were going to be a right fit for you? Or normally does a client contact you because your style and your representation and what you stand for really suits what they're looking for? How does it work, taking on a new client, and how do you start
really
with them?
Interesting. Most new clients of mine have come to me because of my tone of voice, and they feel ready to sort of change their pace, that they're fed up of having a wardrobe of stuff and feeling like that's not really who they are. It's just been a lot of swipe up and PayPals and then it's there. There's been no there's been no like consideration into it, and they're fed up of that. But for them to have come to me, I completely appreciate, would not have been on a whim. I think that a lot of women who I've worked with, there's been conversation spanning weeks, if not months. It's a massive investment of time and energy into yourself. There's a reason why after an edit, be like constantly checking in on them, like, how are you feeling? Are you all right? Do you want to have a break? Do you need a drink? Because it's intense. That whole wardrobe that's reflective of your life, and we're kind of working through it in a way that they've probably never done before, because I like to take things section by section, and I'm talking about their body language when they're wearing things, and it's a real learning, and that can be quite exhausting. So and I think that women who come to me get that that's what they're gonna get when they work with me, that I'm not gonna go in and throw it all on the bed and go, no, 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 yes to this, all this is pretty. It's like, it's full on, because I think that if you don't approach it that way, then you can easily fall into bad habits again and find yourself shopping at brands that just aren't serving you well anymore. So I think
Yeah.
that women generally will come to me for that reason. I have also had people buy my services as gifts for people, because they're like, I know they're going to love it, but they would never prioritize themselves to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that. I love that, especially in lockdown. I had a few women buying consultations with me as gifts for friends, because, you know, just to be like, we can't be together, but I love you and I'm thinking of you and I want you, you know, you've had a hard time and I want you to do something for yourself. And knowing that women hear me, that I'm all about how that's going to feel, and that they want me, you know, they trust me with someone that they really love to do that,
Yeah.
is a massive thing. And I absolutely love
Yeah.
that.
That's really cool. I mean, exactly. It's such, man, I would love a gift like that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, some of the emails from these girls, I'd be like, wow. And even like women coming to me and saying, do you know what? I've had a really crap few months and I'm
Yeah.
done. And I really want, you know, this time to myself. This has been a long time coming. And I think as well, like, I don't email questions to women I'm working with. I like to print a questionnaire that I've curated, and it's on recycled real heavy card, and I post it, and it comes beautifully packaged. And I really
Amazing.
encourage them to sit, like, I write them a letter. I don't do gift vouchers, like everything's individual. I write them a letter, they sit down. I really want them to really drink that moment in, because that's
Yeah.
the beginning of a process. And I think that to have that moment to yourself, to like write to use the written word in that way, rather than sit at your screen again and be typing something. I think just that start of the process, a lot of women are like, okay, wow, we're doing it, and they haven't had that opportunity to do that for themselves for so long, especially if they've got young children, or if they've been caring for someone that's been ill or works crazy. To give them that opportunity is really important to me. So unless, I have a client who's in Singapore, she's the only one who I've ever emailed a questionnaire to. Otherwise,
fair enough.
Yeah. But even then I was like, print it out, don't do it on your screen. I really want you to like really sit and feel it, because I think that that's really a powerful start to working together. And I love it when their responses come back. I love the little doodles, the little notes, the little like smiley faces, or the words that they've written and then they've crossed it out. That all those little learnings are so telling to me and really insightful. So yeah, I love all of that.
That is really beautiful, because I don't think I've ever heard of another stylist doing that. Because what you're doing is you're helping this person think about how they want to transform their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of people take for granted that clothing is so personal, and there's so many things attached to it, memories, feelings,
Mm-hmm.
scents, all that kind of stuff. And so when you've decided to take this step as a woman to move forward in a different direction, or just want to find yourself again, or maybe reinvent yourself again,
Mm-hmm.
that taking that moment of self-care is really, really precious. And it's beautiful that you're giving them that time to say, okay, where am I at now? Where do I want to go? How do I see myself? Or, what do I want for myself? And when you get those doodles back, you can see so much of their personality right there, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's so exciting when they come back, and then I'm like, oh, this is going to be a blast. We're going to have such a good time. And then equally, I've had some come back and it's been absolutely heartbreaking. And I'm just like, you've lived feeling this disconnected from the woman that you are for this amount of time. And I'm not having that anymore, not on my watch.
Yeah.
Like, we will, every woman deserves to have that moment. I think I explained it to a client. I was like, it's so hard to articulate, but you get that moment. And she was like, it's like you see your reflection, you're like, there she is, that's the woman I've been looking for. And that is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think women can really understand that feeling of when you go out, say, and you commit to a look and you feel really self-conscious, and you suddenly are like, oh, I shouldn't have worn this, I should have worn something else, and how that can consume your thoughts for that evening, and how powerful that is. Well, then flip that on your head, flip it on its head, and think, well, then how powerful would it be if I sat there and was like, I look really good and I feel amazing. So it's like, how powerful the negative is. So just consider how powerful the opposite would be, and how you'd carry yourself, and how much more you'd enjoy your time if you felt that way. And that doesn't need to be major effort. That can be quite easily achieved. Like I say, I'm all about like the minimal time. No one has time to be like really deeply considering, but if you curate a wardrobe that's really reflective of who you are, and that everything that you turn to will work and feels incredible, then it's easy to do.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was listening to a podcast not too long ago about this. He's actually a sports therapist and works with high ranking athletes. But one thing he said is our society needs people, one, that know themselves really well and are going inward, but dress well. So they dress like themselves. And I found that really interesting, coming from someone that you wouldn't consider he would put together wellness and fashion in the same thing. But when you feel good about yourself, you dress accordingly, and the world sees that, and that radiates to the people around you, right? And I found that very powerful, that feeling good in your clothing is, it's super, super, super powerful. And we need more women to own who they are. And because when you own who you are, it's reflective, right? And it's like someone, you go to, let's say, a Starbucks, and that person's super, super happy and say, nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. And they give you a big smile, and then you walk off, and then you give another person a smile, and then another person a smile. And you've instantly influenced all these people to have a good day. This is what clothing can do, right?
Absolutely. And I think like it can be, I get that some people be like, well, it's all right for you, you know what your thing is, but that's been a learning, that's been trial and error, and that's been a bit of experimentation. But you'll generally find, I think, that you come back to your thing, and come back to like what it is that you really love. And I think that that's really important. And that's why when women edit their own wardrobes, or when I edit their wardrobe with them, it's paying attention to what it is that isn't working for you anymore, or the fabrics that don't feel right for you, and the fit that doesn't feel right for you. So many women, and the amount of skinny jeans that women have, and they're like, I don't know why I wear these, because I hate how they feel. And it's like, well, why are you wearing them? Because it's been years. This is flattering, and this is what you should wear, and this is what everyone else is wearing. And so if women don't understand fully what's working for them in terms of their frame and how they feel, then of course they're going to turn to pieces that don't feel right, because they feel lost and confused. And that's why finding that confidence is so important.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when you start to work with the client, and when you guys first meet up for going through their wardrobe and clearing out, do you guys have a sit down, like, is there any rituals you guys do before you start, or is there any ritual that you do before you meet a client? Because you're basically a therapist, right? Because you're going in, you're going to hear their stories, and they might get upset or emotional about a certain piece, and letting that go, or might be a really big step for them, right?
Absolutely, especially if it's something that's been bought for them as a gift, that's been kind of thrown on them a little bit, and I'm very mindful of that. I mean, obviously, I'm being very cautious with COVID and alike, obviously,
Yeah.
but I also don't want that experience for them to feel sterile. So the products that I use are from a brand called Attire Care, and they smell beautiful. And it's more like hand sanitizing mist and cleaning mist, and it smells like a spa, and it's all gorgeous, rather than getting Dettol out and, you know, making a thing of it. You can still do it, but do it in a beautiful way. So I think that the main thing is to just make women feel comfortable, and we will undoubtedly have had a good couple of chats before it gets to the point where I'm in their house. Coffee plays a big part. I love coffee.
Me too.
So on a day where if I'm going to be working with a client that day, excuse me, I will probably go walk the dog, music on, have a nice coffee, and then get going. Pack my bag up of my kit, which is just a few rails, hangers for them if they need them. I don't want women to feel like they've got to rush out and get loads of stuff. I have it if they need it. If they don't, then it's fine. And I remember and document everything that we do, because I get that it can be overwhelming. I encourage women to have some lovely snacks, something nice to drink, whatever they like, and I encourage them to just sit on the bed and chill. And then I'll be like, where's all your denim? And then I'll get it all out and I'll hang it on the rail, and then we'll just sort of ease into it. And then gradually women are kind of going, oh, I'll put this on, and you know, all of that. Like, I get that they're being very vulnerable to me, you know, and I don't want to kind of bowl in their house and start pulling apart their wardrobe choices from the years. I'm very tactful, but I'm very firm. I'm like, you know, there's ways of saying this isn't working for you without making a woman feel shitty about past wardrobe decisions. But yeah, in terms of like rituals, I think I just am naturally just quite a slow paced person. So I'll book a time that means I'm not going to roll up in their house all harassed, because they don't need that. You know, I make sure that I organize my time to then turn up, and it's all very chilled. But yeah, like what you said about it being emotional, I think most women will get emotional afterwards, mainly because they feel like maybe relief that it wasn't as hard as they thought it was going to be. But maybe, you know, I will take stuff away that's good to donate, and I'll wash it for them, and I'll organize, you know, we'll discuss a charity that is going to go to that might be meaningful to them. At the moment, a lot of women, we've been donating pieces that they don't need to like women's refuges, quite local. Nice. And then they'll be like, oh, I've got some kids stuff, you know, and I'll be like, yeah, let's do that too. Like, let's take that. And because there are some women that have had such a tough time through lockdown, especially, and you know, it's important to really think about where those pieces are going to go, and that they are, you know, it's not just crap, you know, it's good clothing that can be then put back in the system and help women, and you know, go into the circular thing that is pre-loved and all of that. So yeah, it's just really chilled vibes. I mean, a lot of it comes down to coffee. I love that. I'm a bit of
simplicity.
Coffee, beautiful hand sanitizing mist, good snacks, and we're all set. I did also recently curate like a playlist on Spotify that accompanied like the recent workshop that I did, and then I was like, actually, I'm going to share that further afield, because it's just really like, I think music is so emotive and so
Completely.
literally who I am. Yeah, like that playlist is like my life. And it's about three and a bit hours long. And some women have taken that and they're like, I'm gonna, when I'm like cleaning up my shoes or sorting through my clothes or just to work to it, I'm gonna borrow that playlist of yours and listen to it. So sometimes, you know, I'll put that on and link it to a speaker and be like, let's just ease into it. But yeah, because I get that it can be nerve-wracking for women having me come in their private space and be like, right, let's look at all your clothes. Do you know what I mean?
Let's
it's
dissect
a bit like,
you.
wow. Yeah, because so often women haven't done it in the way that I do it before. They might have gone through bits and pieces, but or got the whole thing out, but not to like really break it down and look at each piece like objectively on a rail or in an open doorway. I don't think women have often looked at it like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because even for me, knowing my style quite well, but you have a time where I needed also someone to come in and kind of yes, no, because you start to see similar things and you have like 50,000 white button-up shirts. Why? I don't know. You know, and it is quite hard, when someone, and that's my point is you need someone to come in that will understand you and your style, because just having anyone come in, they won't see it the way that you see it, and it needs to be quite, yes, that looks really good on you, keep that, that's great, I understand why you want to keep that, why that's there, instead of no, I don't like that, I don't like that, when actually maybe that piece should be still in your wardrobe because it works as a whole with everything. So it's really important to have someone that knows what they're doing, because you know, and
I was going to say, I think as well, a lot of women will have stuff and they're like, oh, I've never really been sure about that, but they won't understand necessarily why, and they've probably repeated that mistake a few times. But for me to explain to them, well, this is probably why, because you've told me you're self-conscious of your bust or your hips, and then you have several of these tops that have puff sleeves or that finish, the hemline finishes exactly at the point where you feel vulnerable or self-conscious of. So it's no wonder it doesn't feel right for you, because the areas that you feel, you know, don't, what am I trying to say? Like the areas that feel self-conscious for you and that make you feel a bit fragile and vulnerable, you're drawing attention to those. So for some women, they're like, oh, I've never really thought of it like that. I just couldn't really grasp why I didn't really like it. But that makes perfect sense. And then that's when women can change their shopping habits and their behaviors, because they have a real understanding of what works and why it works, rather than just going, yes, no, you know, that needs to go, that needs to stay. Or especially like women can be embarrassed about clothes that they're like, oh, it's really threadbare and it's absolutely on its last legs and it's beyond repair. Oh, I'm so embarrassed to show you this. And I'm like, this is amazing, because this you've worn until it's literally falling apart. So what's it made of? What's the cut like? You obviously love it. And that's where the learnings are. I think women are really worried about being wasteful, and it's actually those elements of it that I'm like, this is really good. This is what I need to see. Like, don't hide stuff from me, you know, don't like kick bags under bed. I need to see it all to understand where your head's at and where, you know, where the priority of investment has been for you in your wardrobe, to then move forward and help them to really understand where we go from there.
Yes. I mean, that's really crucial, right? Because so many women shop, being completely wasteful because they don't know that, like you said, that hemline's not right for them, or, you know, if you wore your sleeve a little bit longer here, that all of it would make sense, would be more symmetrical on your body, or, you know, evens things out. Because, you know, a lot of women shop because they feel like they need to shop because someone told them on Instagram that that's what the next big thing is, right? And your whole thing is about being conscious of what's in your wardrobe, the materials that you buy. So talk to me about sustainability, because you're a big advocate for sustainability and re-wearing, reusing, secondhand. Do you encourage your clients to buy secondhand, or go to certain places? I'm sorry, or is it more just about just buying what works for you?
I think that with pre-loved especially, and vintage, secondhand, however women refer to it, I think that there's been years of maybe misconception that to wear that or to shop to shop that way means that you have to be really eccentric, or you have to love bold print and all of that. And I think that women find that area quite overwhelming to navigate if they've not shopped pre-loved before.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're a woman that enjoys a more minimal aesthetic and doesn't like, shopping in shops, say like, let's say like TK Maxx, for instance, some women will go in there and they will love it. Some women will go in there and be like, there's just stuff everywhere and it's like sensory overload and I can't cope. So they feel like, if they feel like that there, how are they going to feel in, say, like Beyond Retro or like a big vintage warehouse? It's going to be like not good for them. But really, it's just about teaching women how to really break that down. So within the questionnaire that I send them, I do ask them if they are open to shopping pre-loved, if they have previously, how they feel about that. And that's really telling, because some women are like, no, it's not for me. But then when I show them pieces of pre-loved that I have, they're like, oh, but I like that. So it's like, that's, it's finding your thing. And I think that recently there's been some incredible stores and brands really curating pre-loved in a way that is easy for women to understand, because it's more in line with how they would shop online. And I think that's really helpful. And I think that it's just about, once you understand what it is that you're looking for and what your focus is, shopping pre-loved is actually excellent, because things are circular, things have been round before. I think as well, over time, women have lost respect for their clothes, and it's just become, like thinking back to when I was younger, my mum would come home with bin bags of my cousin's clothes or whatever, or my cousins and friends and things like that, and I'd be absolutely beside myself of excitement, like rummaging around. And then you get to a point in your life where you have a bit more disposable income and you think, well, I deserve a treat and I'm going out or I'm going to something, and you want that whole occasion to be, I'm going to buy this for this because it will make me feel like I'm ready to go out and all of that. And then I think you can go full circle and be sort of fed up of that. And I think that's where a lot of women are now. But I think that we need to, just respect the craftsmanship that goes into our clothes a bit more. And I think that we need to spend more time and not view it as a chore, as something else that we have to do, like create a moment of that, of things that need repair, things that need go into the seamstress for altering, like build a relationship with a local seamstress and really support them, and the skills that they've acquired over years is incredible. And I think that if we did more of that, then the waste would be, would have a considerable impact on how many clothes we waste. Because as well, like with pre-loved, clothes were made to last back then, so that, and they were made with more fabrics. And now if you try and alter something that was from Zara, like, well, good luck, because there'll literally be like a scrap of hem to play with, or the fabric just won't work. It will behave in the same way. So I think, I just encourage women to just be less reactive and really consider what it is that what they're seeking out and why. And, search, like use the filters that are online. They're a great tool to use. And I think that you will you can spend, you know, hours scrolling the Black Friday sales, you can spend 20 minutes filtering online pre-loved stores and seeking out, say, I don't know, wide leg wool trouser. And then when you find what it is that you have in your head, or what I've told you you need, when you find that, it's an incredible feeling. And I think that, you know, that is much more rewarding and has much more longevity to feel that feeling than it does to just grab some stuff off H&M, you know? I think that that's so important.
And it's okay too, when you're looking for a certain thing, that you might not find it right away. Because I think what happens is you have this urgency, right, that I need this right now. But actually, you say, I don't have, you know, a deadline for this thing. So you're a bit more conscious of, I really want this particular fabric and this kind of cut. So then you won't fold and then go to H&M and get that piece, right? That's going to fall apart anyways. And it's not going to be exactly how you want. So it's being patient with finding that coveted piece, right? And then you appreciate it and you keep it forever.
Exactly that. Yeah, absolutely. Like it is patience. And, you know, sometimes women don't feel like they have that time and they need something straight away. Well, then the chances are you've probably already got something that would work in your wardrobe already. Or there are some incredible rental platforms out there if you need something like that. Because realistically, with dress codes as they are and our lifestyle as it is, especially now, like, do you really need that big dress? You know, like, I'm all for things making you feel good and feeling amazing and dressing like appropriately for an occasion. Like, I wouldn't rock up to, I don't know, a Christmas do in jeans and a cami necessarily. Well, maybe I would, but I think that, you know, we just need to think about where the investment lies in our wardrobe. And that's why I feel like so many women have a wardrobe that's kind of upside down, because, you know, for your everyday pieces that work really hard, it's quite easy to be sort of dismissive and just, I'll just grab that because it's only $6.99 in H&M. It will do. When actually, if you know, and then you do that, 20 times, if you'd have just spent that money on the outset on something that has either been around the block a few times or you know, is a nicer fabric, then I think that is much more powerful and definitely will stand the test of time. For sure.
It will make you feel better too when you put it on. You know, there is a difference when, you know, you've saved up or taken the time to find something, you put it on, and it's actually this excitement running through your body, like, oh my god, I love this so much, this is so great, I'm so glad I waited, you know, then it's just another white tank top, you know, it's not a special one. Exactly that. Now, you've been doing some workshops, and you did one a month ago or just recently, right, at Southwood?
That's right. Yeah. So Hayley Southwood has an event space, and it's all very like eco-friendly, and it's so in alignment with the values that I have that it made sense to host a physical one there.
Nice.
Obviously, with the rule of 6, it was very intimate, very small group of women. And this workshop's a new one for me. I've done one called Focus and Direction, which was about, you know, like things that we've discussed, really, like learning from your wardrobe and really understanding what it is that you need to have a strong backbone to your wardrobe and what that would look like for you. The workshops that I do work prior to them individually for the women that are coming, and that's for them. I don't sort of sit there and go, oh, because you said this, and you know, like, oh, I couldn't think of anything worse. I'm very respectful of women's privacy, so it's not like I'm not going to, you know, make examples of people. It's just, it's all a very chilled chat, and then they've had individual work from me.
Nice.
And then this next one, so like over lockdown, I was a bit like, the focus and direction workshop I was really passionate about. I delivered it a lot, and it had made significant differences to a lot of women, which I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
But I was just a bit like, we need to crank this up a gear, like more change needs to happen.
Yeah.
So I studied sustainability again through UAL.
Nice.
It was a sustainability in luxury fashion, which then I feel trickles down. So I had my learnings from that. I've read a lot, I've listened a lot, I've done the work, and I was like, yeah, what can I do? And a part of my manifesto from that course, I was just like, I need to do more. So I wrote this next workshop, which is called Slow Down. And it's precisely that. It's breaking down where we are, the impact of the fashion industry. I'm not an activist. I don't want to like bombard women with facts and figures, but I feel like people need to really understand where we're at and the impact of where, of our consumerism and the big machine that is fast fashion, and where that's leading us. And I think that women are ready to hear it and are ready to make those changes. And I break down like composition of fabrics and greenwashing, how to identify that, what that looks like. And I think that and there's a big section on pre-loved in there, because I do think it is a misunderstood area of shopping. And I really want women to feel confident and empowered that they can go and make these informed choices and make better choices. And I feel like through working together, whether it's one-on-one or through a workshop like that, I think that women are really shifting their thinking. I'm hugely passionate about it, and will chew anyone's ear off that wants to hear about it, because I think that it's these small changes in these habits and these little learnings, women are starting to go, oh right, okay, I could do that, and this is how I can do it. And that's not creating an army of little Donna clones. I'm not saying do exactly what I do, look how I look. I don't want that. Like, I want you to look how you want to look, which is why, like, as a part of the pre-loved section of that workshop, I asked women to send me images of looks that they've probably seen on Pinterest or Instagram that they're like, oh, I really like that. Things that if you were on your phone, you'd swipe up and buy. I want you to show me that, and then I'll show you how to identify the key features of that and the details of that, and where you can get that using pre-loved. And that's been amazing. Women have been like, wow, I never would have thought that I could achieve that with pre-loved. Absolutely, you can. Everything's circular. It will be there, and I will show you how to find it. And I'd really encourage women to, if pre-loved feels like, oh, that feels like a big step for me, okay, that's fine. It's a process. I'm not saying like you have to have all of your wardrobe pre-loved. I'm just saying maybe just be less reactive and consider that before you go on to the Zara new in section. Let's just think about it for a minute. Zara gets its inspiration from somewhere.
Exactly.
The chances are that's either an independent, or it's been around the block before. It will be out there. It's just, like we said, having the patience to find it. And then when you do, wow, what a feeling.
I mean, this is such a great workshop that you're running, because it's all about education, right? The more we educate, the more people are aware, and then the less they buy. And then, like you said, it slows down. It's just about education. And this is exciting. Oh, wow. I wish I could fly over and be like there when it's so cool.
Oh, I'd love it. It would be amazing. We'd have a blast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I like the physical one was really special. It was like the first one that I did, and the few girls that were able to come were like, wow. And one of the girls that came is a sustainability blogger, and she was like, this is incredible. Like, this is this is really helpful, and I want women to have those understandings, those practical steps. Because if I just bombard you with information, you're going to leave going, oh,
yeah.
okay, so I heard it, but I still don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how you start, and this is how you make the changes, and this is how I can help you. And I don't just sort of wave you off and go, well, bye, have a lovely time. I'm all for the conversation. Like, come back to me, ask me questions. If you're struggling to find something, let me help you, because I feel like it's so important that you know, I want to do what I can. And like, when I was, you know, speaking to some tutors and stuff, and I was just like, how do I take my responsibility as a stylist and really like take this up another level? And this was the best way I could think of. And so it's developing, and I'll take it online, and and I think that the feedback I've had from it has been really positive, and I just take the responsibility that I have in showing women these changes that they can make really seriously. Because I feel like we're at that point, like we need to like stick something in the cogs of misguided or boohoo and all of that. Like, let's just calm down a little bit.
I mean, this is a great direction for you, right? Because there's so much growth for this. Also, just as far as this is the direction that the fashion industry is going in. I mean, this is the direction the fashion industry has to go in. They don't have a choice anymore, because we are literally just, going, and we've been going downhill for so long, and look where it's gotten us. It's we're destroying everything. And humanity, how many, educating individuals about slowing down, where your clothes are coming from, and that there's a human behind them, then you really start to think, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to buy this t-shirt for €5 or whatever, because that means the person making that didn't get anything. It's a whole cycle, right?
As consumers, we need to be responsible for that. We need to take ownership of where we are and be like, this can't continue. Because there's women, children, families, people that have that have got craftsmanship that's been passed on to generations, that are just being manipulated and treated in the most vile of ways. And that's just like the social side of it. There's so many impacts. Sustainability there's so many layers to it, and it can feel like a bit of a game of whack-a-mole. Like, you kind of combat that issue, and then there's like hazardous chemicals and all of that to take into play. So but that's why I think some women and men as well will just switch off and be like, it's too much. Like, the terminology is too much. It's too overwhelming. I'm not an activist, but I take my role very seriously, and I'm like, this is how you make the changes, and I will break it down for you. So I'm always up for like the conversation, and if women have questions about it, please like ask me, because I feel that making those changes and that understanding is just hugely important.
And we all play a part, don't we? Even though we're one person, our small changes, everyday changes that we make makes a huge impact. And if each of us make one small change, that's a beautiful thing right there, isn't it? It's about one thing at a time, and not completely changing your life, right? It's slow down, step by step.
Exactly that. It's like at your own pace, with pieces that feel relevant to you and that fit with your lifestyle. You can absolutely contribute to making significant changes. It's the small incremental changes that will make the difference. So I think it's hugely important.
Amazing. Well, I have one last question for you, because the podcast is called The Future Edit, and it is about editing yourself now for a happier and healthier you. What do you describe your future self, the future you? What do you see happening?
Oh, wow. I think my clothes are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, as well as my my face furniture. My love of oversized sees no bounds, I think.
I'm there with you.
I think that, yeah. I think that I feel like I'm in a really exciting place right now. I feel like the things that I have to say, I feel like I've been beating this drum for a long time about shopping with more consideration, but I feel like there's a community forming, and there's like voices are being amplified. Activists out there are doing an incredible work, and I just think that I feel like I'm at a place where I'm like, I feel heard, you know, and that's like, God, that's really emotional. But I feel like we're at a point where what I have to say and the value of what we're doing is really being heard, and that's all I can ask for, really. So I just want to keep that traction up, because I feel like the changes that we're making are so important, and to see women making those changes in their day to day, and the messages that I get from things that I've taught them, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the thing. This is happening. God, that was unexpected.
No, it's
but
beautiful.
I feel like it's just so important to me that I feel that's happening, and I feel like I'm in a place where that is. So I just want to just reach out to more women to sort of shift their learning behaviors and in terms of their shopping, and for them to really appreciate and understand how powerful that can be for them, and them to carry that forward. Yeah. I'll stop now.
Well, I think what your future year is beautiful. You are being heard, by the way. There's many of us that have so much respect for you, love what you do, and are really, really, I personally am so excited to see what you're doing. It's really, really fascinating. And like you said, you've been beating the drum, but you've stuck to what you know and what you believe is true for you. And look, you know, because of that, you are completely doing really, really great things. So thank you for what you're doing for us women. We need this, and we appreciate it. And you're helping women find themselves, right? And when you have a bunch of women finding themselves and owning who they are, you have more beautiful people in the world, you know, shining their light. And this is what we need right now. So, and this is great. I'm really, really excited for you. This is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure.
I have huge amounts of love and respect for you, for what you do and your style and your tone of voice. And yeah, it's been a joy to chat to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the more us women, we need to stick together and really, you know, keep using our voice to be heard, and to really spread the, you know, the love and the, you know, encouraging women to come into themselves. So thank you for this interview. This was lovely. And to find Donna, I will put all of your contacts below, and you can reach her on her website. Also, she's on Instagram. And if you are near her or in the area, please attend her workshop for me. That would be amazing. They'll be fabulous.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you're hearing, please like us, subscribe, and tell your friends. You can follow us on Instagram, The Future Edit. And for more information about my guest and myself, you can head to thefutureedit.com. Until next time, ciao.